this photo, I was really asking myself, where are they all going to go? And the answer to that question is the title of my poem, No One Knows. No one knows where Nell will go, whether she'll ever really settle down with the no-good Jasper's boy, if Alice and Ida are going to teach in Whitman County, where the sky runs big and the wheat is long, if the little boys, Henry and Louis and Joe, will study at all come harvest time, whether the insolent children will ever help teacher get coal, all the good children are going now, how all the kids manage to crowd together into one picture. The world gathers them up into her calloused hands like so many fragments of colored glass, making this mosaic 1 second, the next. The world gathers them up and she scatters them. Disperse, she whispers. They flutter apart like ashes on the wind, break apart and change. The glass goes back to sand, and we walk on the sharp sand beaches of Idlewood Park. We walk on the fragments of glass mosaic of Nell, Alice, Ida, Henry, Louis, and Joe, of Log Cabin Schoolhouse, and years ago. So in looking at this picture, I was really struck, kind of like Maya, at what wasn't there, sort of the emptiness of it, and that really inspired this poem, which I called Empty. Child, there is a strange prison called Empty, and the jailers all around. It's in these floorboards, and the cold ground, and the windows, and the days. It's in that logger's eyes and in some mother's lonesome look. You can try to fill it, but those shackles stay in place, oh, they do. Child, I knew Empty like Biggie's Swindles know the federal pen. I knew Empty way back before, when everything knew Empty. All this was empty, all the people and the land and the house, wash day and Sunday and payday and work day. Empty, empty, empty. Child, you get a strange yearning for empty when you've known it for so long, when the land gets filled by people who have fullness in their eyes, and the trees get felled for reason and for progress and for homes, and in their place are buildings that have smiles to fill the whole. The library we started, sure, that was my own doing, true, but you think back to the empty and you wonder if it's gone. Not for us old-timers, not for us, now that we see empty in the full. If you look at this picture, you can definitely tell where the center of the action is. It's right where the race is happening. Well, maybe it's my nearsightedness, but for some reason I looked everywhere except for where all the people are, the telephone wires, and especially at the Redmond Shoe Hospital. I was just incredibly intrigued by this concept of a hospital for shoes, and so that's what I wrote my poem about, Redmond Shoe Hospital. Their states of health are various. Some need mending, some need love, a few need new tongues or souls. Most need softer labor, their work too hard. The man with the monocle is inspecting another pair. Says the woman that brought them, the loss would crush me. And all those worn out boots by the door, well, sir, I hate to say it, but they're a lost cause. I still have to inform the family. 1955 shows the Nike Missile Command that the United States Army maintained on top of Education Hill. Who here lives in Education Hill? I see some raised hands. Okay, well maybe you knew that there were, during the 1950s, the Cold War, that there was this missile project going on. And for me, this picture really represented an intersection of the personal present as well as the family past. Because I live only a few blocks away from Nike Park. My sister and I went there to play all the time when I was younger. And when I found out that this area beyond the barbed wire fence at Nike Park had once housed these missiles of great destructive power, I was immediately incredibly intrigued. Now, coincidentally, this is a bit of a far stretch, but it was what kind of happened in my subconscious. The Nike Missiles Project was proposed by Bell Labs, and my grandfather worked there for many years, and while I'm sure he was never involved in anything having to do with those missiles, the idea for this poem arose from really thinking about this inspiration of grandparents and knitting needles. Needles. Peering through the barbed wire fence at them, she can't help but think that they sort of look like needles. Big, thick knitting needles poised on the edge of a new line of yarn. There's that quick flash to them, the poised potential, the suspense in the second when Grandma pauses knitting, and you know that when she starts, it'll go, 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 no stopping. And you know that when these start, they'll go and go, no stopping. Except Grandma makes things, brings fragments, fabric, yarn together. And these are Grandpa's clumsy knitting needles, poised on the edge, like they are about to tear, rip, break the fabric apart. That day in Bothell at the end. That day in Bothell at the end, I saw it in your eyes, that sort of scary something. There's something that makes you want to lose yourself in the thrill. If you could succumb completely to the way the careen of a sudden turn feels, live your life as fast as the world rushes past you, leave as loud and big a mark as the ephemeral white spray behind the bow pummeling the water's edge, peppering the onlookers whose giggles barely reach you in that beautiful brief second before the ripples cease, the fishes rise, and quietude settles on the river like you were never racing there. If you could fire your veins on the charge of the stampede, live life so much simpler with the need of just one thing, to win, would you?